will start with John Elfrank, followed by Alice O'Neill, and Brendan, whose last name I can't read, I apologize.
How can I get his face up on the side?
John, you may begin.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is John Elfrank-Dana. I'm the EFT chapter leader here at Murry, Bergtraum. I've been here since 1986. And I was here on September 11th, 2001, when we had to do the duck and cover. We had to scramble out of this building. And I had to send my students either over to Brooklyn Bridge or uptown to get home safely. So when I heard there was discussion about putting an elementary school here in the bunker, we are next to a high-value target. That's why we have to walk through all this police security to get into this building. It makes absolutely no sense. Just from a security point of view, just set aside all the pedagogical and space utilization issues. It just makes absolutely no sense, and that's what I wanted to focus on here. In addition, we still have egress issues in this building. Sure, we have fire drills and we go out all 3 exits. But in a real emergency, are we going to have all 3 exits? Most probably not. Now, when you leave this building, I want you to take a look. When you walk out the main building, look at all the police vans lined up there. And imagine for a moment an emergency situation where that's our only egress out of the building, and there's 2,000 souls trying to get out of this building. Take a look at that, okay? These guys, my students, I can send them on their way if necessary. But what are we going to do with elementary school children, 4 or 5 years old, in such a situation? It makes absolutely no sense from a safety perspective. Okay? Thank you very much.
Antonio.
Hi, my name is Brendan Mullins. I student taught here at Murry Bergtraum back in 2004. And I didn't get the job right away because my certification wasn't through yet, and I had to return back to Albany to sub for a year and a half. And I subbed in a lot of schools, everything from the really wealthy suburban to the urban. I've seen the whole spectrum. And when I got the phone call to return to Bergtraum, I took it because Bergtraum meant something. When you hear that name, it still resonates. I hear a lot of names in school in the cities, and they do not evoke the same emotion as Murry Bergtraum does, for better or for worse. But I hear these words phase out, colocation, recycle, and they're so sterile. And I just hope whoever is making these decisions, that your decisions have huge impacts on the people, the lives involved. I was the teacher leader of the 9th grade academy, and because of the drop in enrollment, all those teachers are gone. And when you make these decisions, it's not a school, you are impacting a family. Because a school is a family, not just for the adults involved with each other, but also between the students and each other, and the students and the teachers. And there are teachers that I hear from who are at other schools, who are A schools, B schools, who are contacting me on a regular basis asking, how is so-and-so doing? Well, if they're having problems, please send them to this teacher. They can talk to them. Those teachers are still concerned. I still have teachers who come back to the building because they do not feel supported at their own school, but they feel supported here. So again, whoever is making these decisions, please leave us the family that we have left. Thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Antonio Bridge, and I am Bergtraum. The simplest statement I can make this evening. I attended Murry Bergtraum High School from fall 2002 to spring of 2006. I now work at Murry Bergtraum High School as a parent coordinator. I speak to you this evening because I am strongly against the idea of a charter school that caters to elementary school kids in this building. Please allow me to remind you, when you enter this building, the name on this building is Murry Bergtraum High School for Business Careers. I stand before you of preserving the legacy of Bergtraum. By allowing the school in Bergtraum, our high school students will no longer be the focus. It will now be about these little kids. Our students will be deprived of resources in our building. What Bergtraum needs is your support to bring back what it was. Instead, let's discuss how we can support and ensure that our students meet academic success. All that is being seen is space, space, space. And with this, you don't realize what it's there for. It used to take students, including this very person that's speaking to you today, closer to their dreams. And with this charter school for elementary schools, it cannot happen. So again, let me remind you that the name of this building is Murry High School for Business Careers, and I am Bergtraum. Thank you.
Next to speak is former Principal Barbara Zillion.
Good evening, everyone. I'd like to thank everyone on the panel. One of the things that you mentioned at the very beginning was what the community wanted. What I want everyone to remember is I started here in 1976 as a student teacher. So I came through this school, and I left at the age of 55. So when I speak about this school, I speak from my heart. The students that you saw here today, they are what Murry High School has always stood for, and hopefully will continue to stand for if the Department of Education does the right thing for kids. This school, so I speak to you not only as a former principal of the school, but I speak to you as someone who spent her entire career here. I speak not only on behalf of myself, I speak on behalf of my former students, my former staff, and administrators, and for the students today, the teachers today, and the administration today. Murry High School was not only supported by the business community, but by the different constituencies in this building that always supported the school. It is the business community in this neighborhood that wanted a school with the Board of Education and the business community wanting a school for business careers to service the business community in the future so that our students would feed into the business community. I think that has been lost over the last 35 years. People forgot what the original mission of this building was. I have not, because I grew up here. So I implore all of you to remember what Murry High School stands for. It is Murry High School for business careers, and let us not forget that. I am Murry High School.
Noreen Stallings here. And then our last speaker is number 9 on the list, S. The first initial is S, last name starts with Y. First we'll hear from Noreen Stallings.
Good evening, everyone. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to speak. I am here as a mother of a senior who has been here at Murry High School for 4 years. My daughter is out of Little Red Schoolhouse for 5 years, and she's out of a private school in Brooklyn for 3 years. When it was time to select a high school, we selected Murry High School for the things that they had to offer her. It is so unfortunate that the media continues to always put the bad forth and never look at the good. My daughter is graduating here with several scholarships being offered to her, not only because she's a student, but she's been offered the opportunity to also play on the wonderful Lady Blazers. What I want to say to you is, why is it that us as adults cannot see that for the history of the Department of Education, we have always separated elementary schools from high schools? Yes, we've had a few schools that have put together elementary schools and middle schools, but we've always separated them from the high school students. Our children at the tender age of 5 to when they go off to junior high school, coming to the school system with a clean slate. We know that age group does not need to experience the same things that the adolescents do have a right to experience as adolescents. They should not be stripped of the fact that they are learning, they are finding their identity, and they are searching for themselves because they have to, quote unquote, grow up because now they have to set the example for younger children. Let us all as adults really think of what's best for the elementary school and the high school students and stop pretending that we're doing that. Thank you.
the mic, please.
Okay, this is my 12th year teaching at Murry High School, and I've seen the school change. Rather than putting all the money to the charter school, why don't they give us the money to the school and improve the school? Because we get a lot of students who have social behavior problems and other issues that we can use the fund for. And the second thing is, I would have advised that if you take a decision putting an elementary school in here, that you visit the school during school hours and see the halls and see if the elementary school students will be safe. And the second thing is that already we have no walk zones for teachers in the school, that we are asked not to go to certain areas. And imagine if the elementary school came in, what would our students be doing? They will not be able to go to certain areas. Okay, and that's the issue there. And the second thing, I'm more worried about the elementary school students who will be in this building. And like what the former speaker said, we brought in a high school into this building, and now we are relocating them. And that should have been taught before we brought them in here. And I would appreciate the DOE will seriously analyze what's going to happen in the future with the new schools coming. Thank you.
Thank